So now that I decided to go back in, this video is going to be a little disjointed. Last clip you saw, this was probably more assembled. Haven't edited yet while I'm recording this, but I started to put it all back together, and then I realized that these pieces were not going to hold with super glue. That wasn't going to be strong enough. Plus, I also heard a rattling underneath that metal, and I was able to extract that loose screw. That's probably a good thing I went back in. Otherwise, that screw could have gotten loose in shipping and shorted out. So this all started with retaking it apart, obviously to fix that. But also, I wanted to repair the screws, the screw holes that hold the focus ring. I'm going to keep that covered. Keep that back end of the lens protected without bending that. So what I did is I put the screws in and then slathered them with JB weld to rebuild where they went. One of them was salvageable, so I glued it back in and then I JB welded it. Now there's still some schmutz on here, but it won't really matter once we put the ring back on. Now the only problem is that. Not a huge problem though. I have some material that I think we will see about attaching and gluing to rebuild this, because it doesn't have to be super strong. It just has to hold the screw. I mean, because once your focus is set, it's set. So let's trim that off. And this is just heat protecting stuff. You see it inside projectors. I use it to force the air around. This is just out of a scrap one. So I was thinking of putting it on the inside. Oh, actually, here's the name. It's called ITW Formex. Oh, come on, there we go. Formex. I never knew that. It's the first time I've actually noticed the name on this stuff. I've been working on these for like 10 years. Never noticed that. Learn something new every day. So that goes on there. Let's see. So make some trim marks. Oh, actually, there's a rim on the inside. We'll use that. Alright, so there's one. There's the other. So what I want to do, go straight across. Focus. There we are. So I'm probably going to go on the outside. If I go on the inside, it's going to shim it inwards, and well, maybe it won't. Let's see. I'll hold it. Let's see if, well, it does go on. That's not too bad. It'll definitely make it a little stronger doing it that way, so I think we have a winner. Again, cover that back up. I think this one, super glue, will work quite well. Let me just get some alcohol so we can clean that off. I like that. There we are, and I just set that in there, and that'll help hold it. Let me, there we go. Just want to line it up with the, that screw hole. We'll put 2 of them in. And then once I'm confident that that plastic is dry, we will, there we are, there's one, and we'll put a hole for the other one. We could get away with 2 as long as the fellow that owns this is extra careful, but I'm going to see if we can do it in a way that makes it so he can just use it like normal, because right now it works. It's actually not too bad, but I'd prefer punch a little hole in here about, let's see, yeah, it'd be about there. In fact, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here so it seeps into that. Right there. Come on. There we are. I like it. All right, I'm going to let this dry. All right, so again, for reassembling, we're going to have to plug all these wires back in. But before I do that, I'm going to have to put a screw in here. So this power supply comes up, and we'll put that screw in. That holds the this side panel on. So the side panel, we'll get that ready. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. This was the one that went to the oops, that guy down there. So we'll get keyboard ready. Plug that keyboard in down there. Make sure the IR wire goes up there. It's a really strange chassis. I'm not used to working on chassis that are so tricky, I guess, or that really have, you have to do it in a special order. All right, so this one goes in there. Oops, pardon me. Drop that guy. I'm doing these by hand so that I don't tear the plastic up. It feels a lot better than when I had it super glued. So I'm really glad I went back and readdressed these. All right, now, let's see. So down there. Feels like this one's a little stripped. Yeah, or it's too short. Let's try a slightly longer one. Let's go with this one. Let's try this guy here. See if that grabs a little better. Oh yeah, way better. Here we are. And then this can sit back down. Make sure it wires where it needs to be. There we are. Let's get these screws started. Now I'm going to show you something here with these. So we're only putting in one per side because the large metal cover that goes on the top is going to use that hole, and this hole. That's it. So we'll put one screw on the ballast. That's the ballast. That's power supply. And on this side, we can put in both. Just trying to make sure those wires aren't getting bunched up on each other. That one, and then this, and this. Make sure you can see that board. You want to feed that wire under and over, and then it plugs in right there. There we are. Then we'll put that screw, pardon me. There it is. Screwdriver, where did I drop it? Oops, sorry about that. Oh, right. Forgot about this guy. This is the thermal switch. Need to move that out of the way so I can put this in, and then I'll show you where the thermal switch needs to go. I unscrewed that to make taking the power supply out a little easier. Thermal switch sits here. So it's just going to go across the top. I'm going to have it go across everything like that. There we go, like that. And we have another IR sensor here that's going to plug back in here, and then there's a fan that's going to plug in there, but we'll get to that. All right, That whole side feels a lot better. That's good. So that means we can put the air box back in. And this is the one I fixed by using those standoffs as a way to clamp it back together since it was missing some fasteners. So the air box just sits down in here. Its job again is to quiet the air as it goes through. Now to put it back in, it has to go this side first. Kind of sits in there, and then it just drops down. There we go. Just make sure your screw holes line up. Now that didn't quite end up straight, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think I can get it to grab. Yep, so that's good. And we have the top of the lamp area, socket for the lamp. These wires go through there. And then our fan. Let me blow this off real quick. Okay, so we'll set this in. This can be a little tricky. What I find is you want to go in on an angle and then turn. There we go. You need to get it around that, oops. You need to get it around that thing. Make sure you don't catch the color wheel wire. And there's a whole bunch of alignment pins that'll get it into place. And now I can put these screws in. Now there were some missing screws when it came in, which, you know, it's fine. I never fault anybody for trying. That's why I'm here. I'm here for if you try and you can't quite get it, then I'll get you the rest of the way. But I always respect folks who try. Because I've tried and failed many times with projectors. Oh, and I forgot to plug this back into the ballast first. Of course, as I'm talking about making mistakes, I go and make one. Let's see if I can get to it without taking it out. No, no way. No way, no way, no way. No way, no how. Alright, so let's take out that screw that I put in. What I should have done, in retrospect, is taking the lamp connector off of that base assembly. That might give me enough clearance to get to it. I don't need much. The connector is right on the edge. I just have to get it in that direction and plug it in. So I can feel the pins. I can't quite get it on there. That's all right. Let's take out a few more screws. And we'll just lift it up and plug it in. It's curious how they have that circuit board mounted to the top. 3 screws. zoomed out all the way. All right. All right, last screw holding the ballast in. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take a quick peek at the ballast. Y'all can see what kind is in here. There we go. It is an, here we are, EUC 220D WB01. It's a 220 watt ballast. Those are the MOSFETs. The output inductor, control circuitry, capacitors, and that's where the lamp goes. So we'll come around this side and plug it in. And I'll flip it on back over, set it back down, paying attention to not pinch the power wire down there. And then these, it's a really curious projector. There's all kinds of like test points, and there's like a pair of pins right here for something. What does that say? Enable? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's for flash and software on there. Not sure. But this projector's got all kinds of interesting stuff like that. I suspect that they use this chassis for multiple models because there's all kinds of holes not being used, you know. So whoever made this for Optoma, let's see, going by the part numbers, I'm guessing Cortronic. They must use this housing for other models. There's all kinds of handwriting on it too, like all the screws have all the screw points have numbers on them. You know, there's a 42, a 38, 26, 27, 1. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some air in here. I'll put these 3 screws back in. After I put the first one in, I'll dress the lamp wire. Don't want it to get caught on the fan, so it actually has a little retainer clip there. There we are. And then I'm going to put this back on. Now those are back in, we need to put the housing screws back in. These guys down here. And I can use the fan to line it up. One of the hassles with these is that the magnetism of the screwdriver gets transferred to the screw down here, that one, that's where I'm putting it in, and if it hits against the metal it'll pull the screw out of position, so it can be a little tricky. And then there's another one right there. Where did I put that screw? There we are. There we are. Click. These little screw towers have like a little thing on the top that helps you line it up on the hole. Check our wires. Come on. That'll go in there. Okay. I like that. And then those are all down in there ready. All right, now these, I'm just going to kind of start. This way I can shift everything around. And I replaced, put in screws that were missing. So I have a whole bunch of these M3 Phillips screws. And they're maybe a millimeter or two shorter and they don't have the washer, but you don't, anybody who knows stuff knows that lock washers don't really do anything. At least not the split ring lock washers. Ah, that one was fighting me. I think it's bent. And then the little fellow is down here. And then I'll tighten them up. All right, and that's the second screw for the ballast. Then, oops, magnet's getting in the way. And then lastly, the third standoff, which is all by itself for the top cover. For the cover labeled C. Okay, like it. Nice and solid. And just bend this little tab in. It's supposed to kind of clamp on the top a little bit. This thing just feels more solid. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now I want to put the lens assembly back in. Let's get this ready. It's looking good. Let's get that hole made. I could probably do this by hand, but let's see. There we go. I like that. It's a good screw hole. Just through the plastic, not into the lens. See? Oh, come on. All right, that'll work. Like it. So let me take these out, because this can't go on until after the rest of the lens is installed. but we know it'll fit now. Oh, that's split. JB weld not set up all the way, maybe. See it? Come on, focus. And it's split a little bit, but I'll take care of that. It's held in by these guys, the small ones. Yeah, thinking about it, I don't know why they would use black ones if you can't see them. All right, those are in. And now we can put this back on. With it out all the way, you can just get to everything. Looks good. Oops, sorry. All right. I know why that pushed out too. It's because I ran the screw in too far. There we go. That feels so much better. Now I have to put the zoom thing back on. I'm actually wondering if I should have done that before I put this in. Let me see, can I get it in through here? Not through there. All right, so before we put the lens in, we need to put the zoom and focus assembly in. This thing, this is going to screw onto here like that. Did I get that right? Like that. Yeah. So that has to like that. Then this just trying to get that behind it. There we go. And putting that zoom ring back on, there's a little bit of a trick, I think, because there was a little trick taking it off. I suspect the service manual tells you to take the whole front apart and kind of build everything from the inside out, but I figured out a way to get a screwdriver up from inside I'll show you. All right, hopefully you can see this when I do it. I'm going to bring the screw in through here, and then, oops, I want to get that screw into the zoom half moon shape, we'll call it. Oh, frig. Come on. There we go. All right. So now it's in there. And now I just have to get it here. Where the heck is the screw hole on that? Right there. All right, now there we go. Wow. I don't know if you all can even see that. Probably not. Right there. There's one. And I'm going to do the other one. And now the zoom thing's back in. Let's put our focus ring back on. There we are. There's the first one. And then the one we kind of fixed. Remember, I can't put the screw in all the way. Get that lined up. Come on, there we are. So we'll stop about there. Because remember, there would be plastic under it. And that's right up against the lens, so let's see if I can get in there. There we go. Come on, there we are. All right. Next step, because we want to test it and make sure the original issue is dealt with. So I'm going to put the lamp back in. Get that connector to line up. That's always fun with these. Line up, line up. There we are. And that one. And remember, the original issue, or part of the original issue, was the door switch. So when I put the door on, I want to hear it click. Make sure the door is unlocked. That way So we should hear. That's it. That's what I want to hear. All right. Good. So now I want to fire it up before we put the top cover on. All right. And then standby button. Color wheel spun up. We have light. Oh. Actually, here we go. Let's zoom it and focus. There we are. Now I don't have a signal connected, but I can. Let's get that Raspberry Pi. Here we are, HDMI 1. And we should get that, yep. Come on. There we go. Not bad. I like it. So let me turn it off. Unplug the Pi, and then we'll put that top cover on. Now that we saw it work, we can reinstall the upper cover, which, because of these clips, it will go on and then slide forward like that. So it goes on and then forward. You can see I got it on there, and again it just goes on and then forward. Then we have some screws, which should be these guys, I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's one. Oh, I'm not blocking your view, am I? No. And then the other. And then there's three that go in the back. And then we'll put, oh good, I was worried that might have been an issue, but that should cover all the screws up. And then we have these guys, which I'm pretty sure is that one. This one. And last but not least, this one. So one of these, I don't know if y'all remember, one of these had that screw jammed in there, and it was just kind of caught on the edge because the hole was too small, so I just got behind it, and you can see I had to hit it really good to get it out. That's all right. It's part of the fun. Feels good. Let's flip it around. And then let's put the this ring on. Then we can call it good. So let's see, that's going to, there's the slot right there. One of them's broken. That's okay. We have two. And two will be plenty. There we are. Let's lock back on. Put that in all the way. Let's clean that lens. There we go. That's good. And then let's clean the top. Pretty sure this is mounted to the ceiling, just by the way it looks. But that'll look great now for whoever ends up using it. I believe the owner wants to sell it. I don't blame him. It's a good projector to sell, especially if he has a new one. But I like that. Ooh, staticky. I don't like that. There we go. Like that a little better. So that's good. I'm going to go set this up in my long throw area and cook it for a little bit. Let's pick that back up a little. There we are. Come on. Other way. Nope, wrong way. Move that lens over. There we are. Up, down. All right. Fan failure. What fan isn't running? And there we go. There is the picture. Looking good to me. And colors are really nice. Brightness is eh. It could probably use a new lamp. I don't have a remote to check the hours, but it looks fairly well used. Not done, but fairly well used. But yeah, there we go. This is how I fix this particular projector. If you have any questions about your Optoma or whatever other projector you own, go ahead and stick it in the comments. And if you have any other questions, you can get me on my email. It's on the About page. And as always, thank you for watching.